Was believed to be founded in 1869 in a game between the Rutgers and Princeton.
And the undefeated New Jersey 11 gets off to a flying start. Flying start.
There's a perfect 11-0 season. Madness in the Meadowlands.
First football was invented. It was very round, like a soccer ball. The actual football game was played in the 1540s. The first recorded football game was played in the 1800s. Many believe that American football originated from rugby because of the similarities that were seen to the two sports and how the sports are played. Deion Sanders has accomplished many things while playing in the NFL, such as winning 2 Super Bowls. Deion is the only person known to have played in both Super Bowl and World Series. August 9th, 1967, Deion Sanders was born in Fort Myers. He played multiple sports in high school and earned a scholarship at FSU. He was known for being popular in the sports media world, promoting himself, and he was also known for wearing flashy jewelry. After attending San Francisco City College to 1965 to 1966 to improve his academic standing, Simpson was accepted to USC. OJ became a commentator for various televised sports events, including NBC Sports to 1978 to 1982, Monday Night Football from 1983 to 1986, and the Summer Olympic Games of 1976 and 1984. Simpson's continued popularity led to a media blitz when he was arrested on murder charges in the stabbing deaths of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ron Gelman in June of 1994.
Walter Payton is a well-respected and well-known football player that was born in Columbia and played for the Chicago Bears. Well-known author Don Yeager had the honor of living with Walter for the last 4 months of his life and learned so many life-changing lessons from him.
At my house. A buddy of mine answers it. He walks over, hands me the receiver, and he tells me the caller on the other end said he's Walter Payton. Now I'm thinking of somebody screwing with me, right? What are the odds Walter Payton's calling me in the day? I'm going to be on Oprah. I took the call, and you heard his voice there. Walter had a very high-pitched voice. So within seconds, I realized this was really Walter Payton. And he said, you know what? It's time. I need to do a book. I'm ready to do a book. I need to do it now. He said, I've been interviewing writers over the last 2 weeks. I've interviewed 15 writers over the last 2 weeks. Haven't clicked with any of them, but I saw you this morning on Oprah, and you're clearly my guy. Are you available? Walter Payton opens the door like that, you run as fast as you can, right? I flew here to Chicago. I was so excited to get to see him again. Went to his house. You saw him play there. Walter played most of his career at 210 pounds. At the end, he was 215. Got to his house. I'm sitting in his den. The door opens from his bedroom, and out shuffled Walter Payton at 155 pounds. I was crushed. I mean, he's my hero. We sat down. And he said, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. He says, if you're in, he said, the one thing, he said, there's a couple things you need to know. The first is, we're not going to write some traditional football book. Not some book that's just about what it was like to carry the ball against certain teams for a certain number of yards. We're going to talk about things that matter, things like organ donation. Walter, whatever you want. It's your book. He said, the second thing you need to know is that I'm no longer on the list. Excuse me? He said, I'm no longer on the list. So a couple of weeks ago, they thought they found a liver for me. They went in and did some surgery, and they discovered that the disease that was in my liver has started spreading cancer cells, and cancer has now infected other organs. A new liver will no longer save me, so they took me from the list. What do you say in that moment, right? There's all this silence, and then Walter leaned in and he said, I hope you can write fast. Because that was him. He always wanted to make everybody feel comfortable in his presence. Anybody who met him, and I've talked to a number of you who have, that was Walter Payton. So I said, Walter, whatever you want, let's do it. He goes, if you want to do it, he said, the first and most important thing is to get the calendar right. And he pulls out a calendar. He starts pointing dates and circling dates on the calendar. Here's the date he discovered when they were sick. Here's when he figured out how bad it was. Here's the date of the press conference. He scrolls forward several weeks and he says, this is the date they took me from the list. Then he goes forward 3 days past that. And he said, this is the day I think we made a difference. You need to see this. You need to know about this day. He said there was a TV show at the time, I don't know if any of you remember, called Touched by an Angel.
Larry Allen started his high school football profession at Butte Junior School in Oroville, Calif. Prior to moving to Sonoma Express, a Division II school close to San Francisco, he immediately grabbed the attention of NFL scouts. He demonstrated his value by giving adaptability to the Ranchers as he played each situation in an all-out attack mode line, yet focused during his 12 seasons in Dallas prior to playing to last a very long time with the San Francisco 49ers. He began 10 games in his season and split time among watchman and tackle. Allen kept on moving among watchman and tackle and kept on obtaining every single expert honor and Star Bowl gestures as a gatekeeper. He completed the 1997 mission and played all of 1998 as the Ranchers' left tackle.
Established in Atlanta, Georgia, 1966, the Falcons are a professional football team that plays in the National Football Conference of the National Football League. The Falcons upset a 15-1 Minnesota Vikings team in the NFC Championship game to reach their first Super Bowl, which they lost to the Denver Broncos. In the 2008 season, led by first-year head coach Mike Smith, rookie quarterback Mike Ryan, and newly brought running back Michael Turner, the Falcons qualified for the playoffs by complying a 11-15 record. Atlanta was again the top seed in the NFC playoffs following the 2012 season, but the team lost the NFC Championship game to the San Francisco 49ers. Including 2 Super Bowl titles and 5 conference titles, the Dolphins are the only team in NFL history to finish an entire season undefeated. The 1972 season ended with a Super Bowl victory. Shula immediately turned the Dolphins around and led them to playoff experiences in each of his first 5 seasons with the team, including the Dolphins' first trip to the Super Bowl in January 1972, which they lost to the Dallas Cowboys. Featuring the no-name defense, captained by middle linebacker Nick Bunkanke, and a potential offense led by 5 players destined for the Hall of Fame, quarterback Bob Grease, wide receiver Paul Warfield, running back Larry Konska, and linemen Larry Little and Jim Langer. The 1972 Dolphins team dominated the NFL en route to posting the only defeated season in league history, returning to the Super Bowl the following season and thus becoming the first franchise to make 3 consecutive Super Bowl appearances. Miami beat the Minnesota Vikings 24-7. When Bobby moved to FSU, he became a coaching icon. While coaching, the FSU football team was invited to the Gator Bowl. In 2006, Bobby was officially inducted into the Hall of Fame. Bobby Bowden served as the head coach for FSU from 1976 to 2009. When Bobby coached, the FSU football team won 2 national championships and multiple titles. On November 8, 1929, Robert Clicker Bowden was born in Birmingham, Alabama. In 1956 through 1958, Bowden served as head coach and athletic director at South Georgia College, a 2-year institution. Bobby left Howard University in 1962 to become an assistant coach at Florida State. He later coached at West Virginia and head coach before returning to Florida State as head coach in 1976.